Back to utility mode, where performance meets real life. I'm Sophie Curtain, elite athlete, sports nutritionist, and student dietitian. Today, we're going to be breaking down Game 1 of the 2026 Women's State of Origin series between New South Wales Sky Blues and the Queensland Maroons, where there are new combinations, major outs, some big debuts, and a series opener that could set the tone for the entire Origin campaign. New South Wales is coming in defending as shield holders with the settled squad, while Queensland enter with a new look spine and some huge changes in leadership. This one is all about standards, combinations, and who handles the pressure first. Looking at the two squads, we've got Abby Church and Tamika Upton at fullback, Jamie Chapman and Julia Robinson in the wing, Jess Surges and Rory Owen in centres, Isabel Kelly and Shanae Sazolka in the centres, Jamie Frassard and Phoenix Rain Hippie in the other wing, Jocelyn Kelleher and Shantae Kiriaratu in 5'8", Jessie Southwell and Lauren Brown in the halves. We've got Millie Elliott and Mackenzie Wheel up front in the front row, Keely Davis and Jada Ferguson at 9. We have Ellie Johnson and Jessica Elliston again in the front row, Tiana Penitani Gray and Sienna Lofapo at second row, Yasmin Clydesdale and Romy Teitzel at second row. We've got Liv Koenig and Keely Joseph playing lock. And then on the bench, we've got Liv Higgins and Emma Menzelman at 14, Kennedy Charrington and Atessa Pule at 15, Kezi Apps on the bench with Chelsea Lenarduzzi, and then we've got Tegan Berry and Brianna Clark at 17 in the reserves. We've got Corbin Baxter, Ivana Losieo, Rima Butler, Destiny Brill, Quincy Dodd, and Destiny Mino Sinapati. So we've got quite a similar squad for New South Wales with a couple of debutants and change of positions, but with Queensland, we've got a very new-looking squad with a few key players having been ruled out with injury or retirement. But looking more specifically at the Blues squad, we've definitely got a very settled squad, as I mentioned, from last year's series win. So we've got 14 players that have been retained from last year's winning side, which is great. A couple of players, again, have come out of the squad because of injury or form or pregnancy, but we do have some consistent leadership through our captain, Isabel Kelly, who has played in, I believe, 15 games. I've got these stats written down here. So she's appeared in Origin 15 times with a 60% win rate. Her 2025 Nrlw stats, 7 tries, 7 try assists, 94% tackle efficiency, and an average run meters of 192 meters. So we know that that's a combination of Nrlw and Origin, but we know that whenever she puts on that Blues jersey, that she's stepping up again for her state and her team. So hopefully we get another great series from the captain, Isabel Kelly. We've got similar spine control with Jessie Southwell and Jocelyn Kelleher. And then obviously a strong middle rotation with some really experienced middles in there with the likes of Kezi Apps, obviously Millie Boyle coming back from pregnancy, Kennedy Charrington, Olivia Koenig, who have all played, Keely Davis, who have all played a number of Origin games for us in the middle, which is great. Some new selection points, which I think are really interesting. We've got Tegan Berry debuting off the bench. So fun fact, I played State of Origin with Tegan Berry in 2019, among a bunch of other players you guys would probably recognise, as well as Tess Danes, Tegan Berry, Liv Koenig, and a few other girls that are Caitlin Johnson that are all playing now in the NRLW as well, which is great. But it's great to see Tegan Berry finally getting an opportunity to debut for the Women's State of Origin, considering how well she's been doing in the NRLW at fullback at the Dragons for the last couple of years. So it's great to see her finally get the opportunity at the highest stage. As I mentioned earlier, in terms of selection, we've got Millie Elliott returning after pregnancy, her first game back, starting front row for New South Wales, which I think is very impressive. We've got Tiana Penitani Gray, who has played, I believe, centre, winger, 5'8", and potentially fullback for New South Wales Blues in previous years, but she has moved to second row after only playing, I believe, 12 or 13 minutes in a trial game at second row. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I do think it's a a positive move for her to be a little bit more involved, hopefully. And as she said in her interviews throughout the week, that she's quite an aggressive player, both in attack and defense. So I think that this positional change to get the most experience on the field at one time, I think is a positive thing. And I don't think it's going to impact her game too much at all. And then we've got Emma Barron, who was a key player coming off the bench last year for New South Wales, is pregnant, so she won't be available this season. And another middle who I guess is a consistent player in the New South Wales squad that is unavailable due to wrist injury is Samaima Taufa. So I guess looking at the squad, the biggest question that I've got is whether New South Wales forward pack can dominate early to allow the halves to take control of the game and the spine to take control of the game, with their biggest strength being stability and consistency within their squad. I'm sure that they'll be able to, I guess, kind of go back to those combinations that they know so well, and a lot of them playing together at Clubland obviously helps as well, with their coach as well being from Roosters. So a lot of them already have that consistency, and then going into Origin, it's great to have, as I said, familiarity with those players, and then those who are outside of the Rooster squad have obviously played together for quite a long time anyway in this arena. Looking at the Maroons, we have Tamika Upton, who we know can break apart a game in a single play. At fullback, we also have some other really strong outside backs in the Queensland team, particularly with their speed and yardage carriages, and even their finishers. We saw some of the finishers in the Australian series with Julia Robinson, and even in the in the Nrlw series in 2025, had a great season. So she's definitely someone to keep an eye out for and to watch out for. But as we know, Queensland, despite having quite a few new players or major changes to their squad, are always a threat. And I guess their mentality is always going to keep them quite dangerous and always in the game. So hopefully, as I said, the Blues middles can have a quite strong start to allow our experienced edges and spine to build some pressure, hopefully score some points early, and just take control of the game. In more major news for the Queensland side, we have Ali Brigginshaw retiring from Origin, who's been a massive part of the Origin squad for the last, close to a decade. She's either been in the halves or more recently been playing lock. So that experience is going to be interesting to see how they handle without her, as well as, again, key position in the spine. We've got Taryn Aiken unavailable due to an ACL injury. So there's some key experience within the squad that's gone missing. And then also another more experienced outside back, we have Hayley Maddock, who was unavailable for the game and withdrew from the series, at least for game 1. I don't know about game 2 and 3, so we'll see how that goes. But with the new halves pairing, we see Lauren Brown, who has been a consistent in the Queensland squad over a number of years, changing positions between the halves and hooker. But it looks like she'll be pairing with Shante Kiriaratsu in the halves, making her I don't know if it is her debut. Let me have a look quickly. Yes, it is her debut. So she is at Cronulla Sharks for Nrlw, but it will be pairing with Lauren Brown in the halves, as I said, replacing quite the experienced Ali Brigginshaw and or Taryn Aiken in the halves. Not only is Shante making her debut, but we've got quite a number as well, with the Queensland team being quite young. So in terms of debutantes, we have Phoenix Rain Hippie, Shante Kiriaratsu, as I just mentioned, Otessa Pule and Ivana Lolisio at 18th man. So Otessa off the bench, and then we've got the winger and 6 debuting for Queensland. In terms of New South Wales debutantes, we have Tegan Mary, as I've already mentioned. We've got Rima Butler at 19th man. And then I believe everyone else has already debuted for New South Wales, which is great, as I mentioned, very consistent, very experienced team. So, as I mentioned, a lot of inexperience in Queensland's spine. It'll be interesting to see how they handle the Origin pressure against such an experienced and consistent New South Wales side. In terms of matchups between both teams will have an interesting halves battle. It'll be Southwell and Kelleher versus Brown and Kiriaratu, as I mentioned. Whoever is able to control the game early is going to win this game. And hopefully with two experienced halves for Blues, we are able to manage it early, as I said, on the back of some really strong middles. At fullback, we've got Abby Church versus Tamika Upton. Abby Church, I think, was very unfortunate not to get a debut earlier than 2025 for New South Wales. She's been a standout in the Nrlw over the last couple of years due to her high effort and work rate. A little bit of a smaller fullback, where I think that's where Tamika has a little bit of an advantage in terms of contesting for balls. But other than that, they're both quite fit and fast and always around the ball. But as we've seen, both in the NRLW and State of Origin, Tamika Upton is easily one of the most dangerous players, particularly in open space. And we know in Origin, almost anything can happen. So I'm hoping that New South Wales is able to keep Tamika to, I guess, a small involvement in the game. Because the more that she has the ball, or the more that she has opportunity with the ball, is worse for New South Wales. So hopefully, as I said, with the middle battle between Millie Elliott and Ellie Johnson versus Jessica Elliston and Mackenzie Wheel, we are able to set a strong platform through the middle and maintain control throughout the game, and then maintain field position as well with some great kicking and isolating outside backs, hopefully in the corners. I mentioned already that we've got some big players missing due to injury. So again, highlighting that, we've got Samaima Taufa for New South Wales, who is out with a wrist injury. Queensland is missing Taryn Aiken from the ACL and Ali Brigginshaw after her retirement. And these big game players changes quite a lot going into this series. So it's definitely going to be interested to see what's going to decide game one. For me, I believe that it's going to be who can complete at the highest rate, particularly under pressure. There's a lot of pressure going into Queensland this season to get the Shield back with quite a young and inexperienced squad. Whoever can be more disciplined and keep the penalties to a minimum, I think, is also going to have an advantage and probably take home the game with, say, some really good middles momentum. Hopefully our outside backs can kind of take control in our yardage sets to give our middles a bit of a rest to be able to put in a bigger effort in defense. And then also we know that Origin is quite an emotional game and quite a heightened game. So whoever's going to be able to handle that and hopefully make fewer bad decisions under that pressure and under that heightened emotion will probably come away with the win in game one. Looking at some stats in attack based on last season, we've got the Blues outscoring the Maroons 72-36. So double the points scored for New South Wales in all three games. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the consistency in the squad with 7 Roosters players, a lot of them also coming from key positions as well. So that consistency with coaching staff and players in those key positions is going to be a massive advantage for New South Wales. And the Maroons lineup of 17 players includes 3 uncapped State of Origin players. So if they're able to keep up with the higher pace of the game and the higher intensity of the game for the full game, they'll be at a chance. But with the Blues experience having played 122 Origin games across the team compared to the Maroons' 91. Looking at the history books, though, it looks like the Maroons have a better history at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle, where game 1 is being playing, having won both previous games there. In terms of the kickoff details, I believe it is Thursday, the 30th of April, as I mentioned, at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. So keep an eye out for kickoff at 7:45 p.m. So McDonald Jones Stadium, available on 9 Now. New South Wales Blues Women versus Queensland Maroons, Game 1, Thursday the 30th of April. Game 1 is usually an indication of who's ready for the moment and ready for the series, and hopefully with New South Wales' stability and Queensland's disruption within their squad, we're able to come away with a win early. But I guess now we're going to find out whether experience beats opportunity. Let me know your thoughts on the squad and whether you think including Millie Boyle in the starting props and the change in halves for Queensland is going to make a bigger difference. Thank you for listening. Another episode of Utility Mode. I'm Sophie Curtain, your host. I will see you in the next episode.